All right, what is going on, guys? Got another breakdown for UFC Vegas 49. Very fun fight here at middleweight. We got Gregory Rodrigues taking on Armen Petrosyan. Rodriguez is going to be an inch taller, but he has a listed reach advantage of 5 inches, so pretty significant. But I will start with Armen Petrosyan. So this will be his UFC debut, coming off a very impressive performance on the Contender Series against Kalyan Kolev, where Kolev was just looking to take him down. He initially had some success with that, wasn't really able to advance the position. And then Petrosyan was tagging him with the striking exchanges. Kolev just did not appear to have any defense. And yeah, he ends up getting caught with the head kick and gets put out cold with the follow up ground and pound. So very good performance from Petrosyan. He's only 6-1 coming into this fight, but what I will say is he spent a lot of his regional career on the Russian regional scene, or at least in that region, and he's gone up against a lot of guys who have been trying to take him down, right? And he's had a lot of success. He's had a couple fights like that Kolev fight where he initially gets taken down and it looks like he's going to get bullied on the ground. Then he gets up, lands his own offense, gets the KO. He's had a couple W's like that. Did it against Dmitry Minikov. A lot of these fights are on YouTube. They're in Russian, but you can find them. Yeah, so Petrosyan looks pretty good. He's got good kicking game, very good kicking game, heavy leg kicks, heavy body kicks, pretty accurate punches. He does get backed up, but he will challenge for the center of the octagon and get it back. And yeah, I like what I've seen from Petrosyan a lot. He's definitely a fighter to keep an eye on in my eyes. It's just at 6-1, hasn't really fought a super high level of competition though. He has beaten some decent names here and there, but he has a fight against a guy who's making his professional debut. Fought somebody who's 7-3, lost that one. Minikov, he wins that one, but Minikov hasn't fought since. So we just really don't know anything about Armen Petrosyan, like what his ceiling is, how he's going to look at a higher level, how he's going to look against a higher level of competition. But yeah, so far so good. He's definitely a name to keep an eye on for me. And then for Gregory Rodrigues, nice little two-fight win streak here since getting to the UFC. He's got a longer winning streak than that, but yeah, currently stands at 4 in the UFC. He picked up a win over Dusko Todorovic, decision win in his UFC debut. Looked good in that one. I would say controlled the first 2 rounds. Very accurate punches. And the thing about Rodriguez' striking game is he's very measured. He doesn't really, force things. It's just not super high volume, but every shot is heavy. He's got accurate punches. He's got good hooks in close. He's good at clinching up and landing knees in the tie clinch. So he's very strong. Allegedly 30 years old. I gotta believe, man, that this is one of those cases where Gregory might be lying to us a little bit, man. You look at this guy. I mean, just look at him. This guy is 30 years old. I mean, maybe. But it is worth keeping in mind. And his cardio, also not the best, which is concerning because he doesn't exert himself. He fights at a pace where he should have cardio, but he just doesn't. So it's a little bit concerning. But yeah, Dusko Todorovic, that's a solid win. I believe at least, Dusko is probably the number one guy you could use a camp switch in my eyes. He's just training at some random gym in Serbia. I really like to see that guy go to like a bigger gym, let's say. But yeah, against Jun Young Park, I was on Rodriguez in that one. Park, very good fighter. I think he was on a 3 or 4 fight winning streak in that one. He's been around for a while, has some solid fights outside the UFC and plenty of wins in the UFC. He's definitely, good test. And Rodriguez did pretty good in that one, but Park did have him hurt really bad. And Rodriguez's body language was just horrible in the second round. He's just like kind of rope-a-doping and was just throwing back these shots with absolutely no intent. And then he does somehow catch Park with one coming in, follows up on it beautifully, walks him back to the other side of the fence and knocks him out. So Rodriguez has a lot of power in his hands, man. He really does. And where he really excels in my eyes is the jiu-jitsu game. This guy's a very high-level jiu-jitsu player. He was a jiu-jitsu coach before he started training more general MMA. And he's a training partner of all the top guys from Brazil. He's spent a lot of time training with Jacare, Anderson Silva. you name it. This guy has trained with them, and they all have good things to say about him. And it's looked good so far for Gregory Rodrigues. But yeah, the jujitsu is very pronounced. He's got a big frame, so it's not like he's got heavy wrestling pressure, but he just stays on his opponents. Like, he gets really tight body locks, and he's just one step ahead in the transitions. This guy is high level jujitsu, world class, you could say. And, Jun Young Park is not a slouch on the ground at all. He's mostly got good offensive wrestling, but he was doing the right things. Rodrigues took his back just effortlessly, and he has him in a body lock. And Park was trying to turn into it, but he just couldn't. It was so tight. And if you ask me, I think that is the route that Rodrigues is going to have to go here. And you look at the odds, and that's where it's tricky. So I was on Rodrigues big time against Park, but that's because Rodrigues was like a plus 110 underdog. In this one, Rodrigues, the price is a little bit steeper. On DK, it's getting a little better, minus 155. I think it's right around the range where I'm going to consider betting it. On FanDuel, it's a little husky at minus 170, but I'd still like to see it a little bit lower, only because Rodrigues just scares me a little bit. He did get knocked out by Jordan Williams, and sometimes when fighters, well, first of all, I'll say he doesn't seem to handle pressure very well. Like when Park was pressuring him, it all kind of started to fall apart for Rodrigues. He's good at getting his opponent to back up because he has such heavy hands and he's accurate. And, his opponent will back up. But if they decide to go forward, there's a big problem. Another issue with Rodrigues is he has a very high guard. It just looks like body shots would land all day on Rodrigues, and Petrosyan has very, very good kicks to the body. They're stiff. He's gotten knockouts with them before. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, when Rodrigues is allowed to lead the dance and initiate his own offense, he looks really good striking. When it gets kind of messy, he gets tagged, It's not good. And his cardio also not good. It's just like there's so much to like about Rodrigues, and then you just look at some other things, and it's concerning. So at this price, like I'm gonna pick Rodrigues only because just the jury is still out on Petrosyan, but I do see paths here for Petrosyan, and it's almost in dog or pass territory for me. One thing I will say is Gregory Rodrigues by sub at plus 400 definitely has some value, because I think if Gregory Rodrigues wants to win this fight, I think he's going to have to try to back him up, get his respect with a couple power overhands, and then get the takedown. Because if he looks to strike with Petrosyan, I feel like he's going to get caught, or he's going to get in an exchange that leads to a KO, or these body shots are just going to wear him down, something. I do think that while Petrosyan has shown good sub defense and, I mean, at least good get up ability, I think it's just a higher level with Gregory Rodrigues. He's also much bigger, so Petrosyan is going to have to cover some ground to get in there. And I just think that there's a lot of factors that lead me to pick Rodrigues in this fight, but it is really close, man. It mostly comes down to, like I said, if I really have to pick, it's because uh, Rodrigues just does a little bit more, and Petrosyan is just such an unknown, I really can't get a measure on how good he is. This is a big test for both guys, but yeah, Rodrigues is definitely somebody I'd look to fade in the future. Although I do like a lot about his game, it's just in this one, I'm going to side with him, though I really don't know if I'm going to bet it or not. We still have to decide. So, thanks for watching, guys. Sure, subscribe, and